Hello, how's it going?
Jesus, that's loud. Detail. Pardon me.
Mute. Is that the Pepsi Max effect,
It
Derek?
is, yes. New Year, same pishy patter.
Exactly. Right, I'm back.
I'm back.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the I Read It podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek. With me is my co-host Dave. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had a good time during the holidays, but it's back to the grind, back to work, and back to the podcast, Derek.
Yes, several games to cover. Unfortunately, 6 games to cover tonight. We're not going to cover them in great depth. We'll just cover the last 2 in a wee bit more depth. Life gets in the way, as ever, when it comes to our podcast. I think the last podcast we done was the 13th of December, so it's just under a month ago. I didn't think it was that long, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Circumstances and all of that, Derek, but we are here. We have been doing the post-matches as well, so it's not as if we've disappeared off the airwaves completely.
Yes, so without further ado, we'll go down the tunnel and onto the pitch. So the first game we've got to cover was Monday the 15th of December. It was a 1-0 win at home against Hibs in the Premiership. Now I know Dave just said we've been doing the post-match podcast, but this is the one game out of the 6 we never managed to get one out. We had other circumstances taking over there.
Yeah.
But the game itself, we both watched it. Ultimately, well, as I said, we're not going to cover it in great detail. It was a hard-fought victory, as we kind of thought it was going to be. We restricted Hibs to long shots, though, and the one big surprise that Dujon Sterling started the game. I think that was his first start in about a year, was it no, Dave?
It is, and we'll get on to him later, Derek.
Yes, a rather unfortunate event. But on the 29th minute, we cleared the ball off the line after Hibs had a corner from the left. It was into the back post and a header. However, we did score on the 35th minute with Fernandes scoring. It was a corner that came in. It was initially cleared, but we regained possession, played the ball back out to the left. A great cross into the middle from Sterling and a great glancing header into the back of the net. A great goal. Fernandes again, bullet header. And Sterling getting an assist. Can't ask for much more in his first game back.
Exactly, and it was all to do with the delivery, Derek. Fantastic ball in, and Fernandes, as we will speak about in the games coming up, becoming a real goal threat for other teams and getting a lot of joy in the box.
Yes. 42nd minute, there was a VAR check for Hibs for a handball in our box. Offside was given beforehand. Not that we've seen a clear angle of it, mind you, but it was a close range bullet in any case, so I'm not sure you can give it, given the fact that it was close range. But stranger things have happened. Into the second half, more of the same. 79th minute, Gassama had the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled offside after he started his run too quick. It was a lovely move down the left with a great pass through to Gassama. The VAR check did confirm it was offside. So, we ran out 1-0 winners. Ultimately, I wouldn't say a scrappy game, but we were pretty good. We did restrict Hibs. It was hard fought, and that's what we're going to expect to see from most teams this year because we've been so bad. But you've got to remember, Walter Smith teams done that so many times as well, just ground out their victories. And given the season we've had, I'll take a hard fought 1-0 win every day of the week.
Yep, 100%, and I think it's what Danny Rule is installed in the players because we're going to go on to like the games coming up, and don't get me wrong, there's some games that we've played really well and our victory's been well deserved and we've had some fantastic play, but there is other games that it has been down to just sheer doggedness by the team and determination, and we've managed to hold out and get the victory. And as you say, I'll take that over getting spanked a few times or completely hammering teams and being really inconsistent. If the defence is consistent, it's only going to be a good thing. And considering the way the defence was just, a couple of months ago, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It lines us up into a massive game, though, that came up was on Sunday the 21st of December. It was away against Hearts, however, we lost 2-1. It was all there to play for. Hearts had a couple of wee slip-ups. We were back in it potentially. We could have went within, I think it was maybe 3 or 6 points at that point behind them, but it wasn't to be. A couple of controversial moments as well, though.
There was, yeah, and again, to be fair to Danny Rule, he's having to kind of change formation for this one by playing 3 or 5 at the back, however you want to see it. He's changed it a few times, which I quite like about that one. The likes of Miovski coming in for the start as well. We wanted to see what was happening with him. Sterling again starting in this game. But I'm not going to cover it in great detail, Derek, but in the sort of 10 minutes, we did have the ball in the back of the net, and quite interesting to hear your thoughts, because it was shot down straight away. It was a corner in from the left. Fernandes, he heads it to the back post, and Majovski was there to tap it in. Now, the offside flag was put up when he tapped it in. The lines were drawn. I still don't think it was conclusive, even although that's been shot down. Every single person in the media basically made out that it was miles offside. The lines to me looked very, very makeshift and very, very hastily drawn up. And I'm still not sure that it was offside. Me and you had messaged each other, and I think you were like, no, I definitely think he is. But the more and more I see it, it was inconclusive to me. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, there was questions, did Miovski even have to touch it? Because it might have been going in, but on the replay, certainly he had to put it in because it was going wide.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm in full agreement with you that the lines, the red and blue lines seem to be touching. The actual lines that they drew up to the arms weren't in the right places, and they appear to be at an angle. And if you look at the actual picture as well, I'm not even sure the line, the red and blue line is straight anyway and in the right places. So
yes,
is this Mickey Mouse way we do things up in Scotland where we're not paying for the full thing? Everything's half-baked. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was inconclusive at best, and you're judging by, you're talking about toenail widths here. That's not what VAR was brought in for when it certainly comes to offside. Yes, offside is meant to be a black and white thing, but when you've not got the tools correct to begin with, then you can't really judge it. And obviously I've seen that, I think that they're going to be trialling Arsene Wenger's new offside rule where it has to be clear space in between the players for it to be ruled offside. So we'll wait and see if that comes. But yeah, VAR needs to be overhauled because this toenail width decisions is incompatible with the spirit of the game. You're meant to be giving the players, the attackers, the benefit of the doubt, and you're really not, because I think we've said it before, the human eye would not be able to decipher when the players are running at speed if that was offside. So there is no way you can judge that that's offside then, can you?
No, you can't. And I think what I was annoyed about mostly was I didn't think I heard one expert or so-called, I'll say that again, so-called expert on the TV question it at all. It was straight away, no, he's well offside, because at the angle that the camera was, it did look as if he was offside and getting quite a distance. But then when it showed you it from another angle, you were like, no, wait a minute. And again, it wasn't conclusive for me, but it wasn't to be, unfortunately. Going back to the game, it was kind of end-to-end. Rangers had a glorious chance. Tav with the free kick into the box, Raskin with the header. Their keeper completely missed the ball, and Raskin sort of headed it over the bar. A wee bit more composure, he might have scored. But it was going back and forward. But then on the 38th minute, Hearts scored, and it was just a simple cross in for the left. Nobody marking, and you're thinking 3 men in defence in the middle of the box. Surely we're not going to give away any headers. But it was a cross to the back post and a header across Butland into the near post and into the back of the net. Really poor marking, Derek. And like I said, for having 3 central defenders in there, just a goal that we shouldn't have conceded.
I mean, we've seen that time and time again this season, just a lack of marking, and it's so easy for the opposition just to header it in.
Yep, so we were kind of reeling for that, and I thought, right, okay, try and see it out to half-time, see what happens, because we know that Danny Rule is good at changing the team to try and get something out of us, but Jack Butland, and we've not said this a lot this season, Derek, but he will have nightmares about this, because Hearts scored in the 42nd minute, and it was Shankland from a shot from a narrow angle down at Butland's near post, and it just went between him and the post. I don't know how he managed to... It was an accurate shot, but you would be expecting Butland to save that one all day long. And yeah, a poor goal for him to concede.
That aside, again, the defending was all over the place. Nobody willing to put a challenge in. But yeah, Butland, once again, he saves us so much, but then he makes these basic errors like this. And it's always the same. It's the near post down at his low side. He's got a problem with dealing with that. And it's costing us goals. Sad to say, but that was atrocious.
Yep. And then into the second half, Hearts kind of in control. They could have finished us off a few times. They had a few sort of bad misses, and that's all I've got for, chance. But then, right at the death, 94th minute, Rangers did pull a goal back, but it was too late. It was a long ball right up into the box. Chermiti, to be fair to him, he stays with the last Hearts defender. He completely misjudges the bounce. Chermiti keeps his eye on the ball and slots it past the goalkeeper. It was quite high, but good control by Chermiti. He kept his shot low and put it past the Hearts keeper, but too little, too late, Derek.
I mean, it was a good goal, and I think, though, that goal has maybe been a wee bit, as much as it was a consolation goal too little, too late, I think it's been the making of Chermiti, because we'll get into the next 4 games after that.
Yeah.
He's been bloody good.
Yep, and this game I was disappointed in, Derek, because I'm not a great judge with Rangers these days. I don't know when we're going to turn up and when we're not, but I did actually feel quite confident going into this game that we would get some sort of a result, but we wilted after the second goal. I think we sort of knew that we weren't going to get anything out of it, and it showed in the second half. So it was Danny Rule's first league defeat, but we were hoping for better things in the upcoming games after that.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you've just said Danny Rule's first league defeat, that's a massive feat in itself, to be honest, given the way we were. It just had to happen against the league leaders, though, didn't it? So
I know.
So it leads us into the next game, which was Saturday the 27th of December. It was a 1-0 win at home against Motherwell in the Premiership. It was another hard-fought win, but we got there, Dave, didn't we?
Certainly was, and I'll be honest with you, Motherwell, to me, so far this season, have been one of the best teams that have actually been the way that they've been playing. The manager that they've brought in, for what he's done on a limited budget, to have them playing the way that they are is quite incredible. And I just had a feeling that this was going to be a very, very difficult game, because they are playing well. They're full of confidence. And you look at how high up in the league that they are and how consistent they've been, I thought we're really going to have to be at our best to get a victory here. So, yeah, I was delighted with this result in the end.
I mean, I don't think we were the best in the first half anyway, because it prompted Derek Johnson, who was doing the half-time draw, to basically call the players out, and it ended with him saying no surrender. So it was absolutely brilliant. And he actually said it correctly, though, and obviously not being there or just heard that somebody videoed it, but it was fantastic to see somebody who's been and done it calling the players out at the time. Really good to see.
Yeah, it was, and it was justified what Derek Johnson said, because in the first half, like I have, Motherwell playing some really, really good stuff here. They were right up for it, and they were outplaying Rangers probably for like the first 25 minutes of the first half, but Rangers came back into it in the second half, starting to put some pressure. Connor Barron getting a hold of the ball in midfield and starting to get us forward, but it was 0-0 at half time, so a wee bit more encouragement going into the second half, considering that we had finished it much better than we started it. So a couple of changes as well at the start of this, just about 10 minutes into this second half, with Moore coming on. I think that it changed it. And again, that's what I says to you about Danny Rule. He has got the knack, I think, at the moment, to know when to change a game and change it positively. And on the 66th minute, this is where it turned, and it's these small margins, because Jack Butland, who we spoke about in the last game, having a nightmare for Hearts' second goal, produced one of the best saves I've seen in many a year. Absolutely sensational save by him, and the ball was played into the box. First touch by the Motherwell attacker. He turns and he fires an absolute bullet, a half volley, and we were just expecting the net to bulge because he hit it with such power. But he pulls off the most incredible one-handed save. Like I said, save of the season so far, I believe. And from there, Rangers went up the other end and scored the only goal of the game. And the ball made its way up. Gassama gets on the ball at the edge of the box. He cuts it inside. He's done it a few times, hits a fantastic curling shot into the bottom corner. Motherwell keeper, who was also having a phenomenal game, he pulls off a tremendous save low, but he didn't sort of get it right, and the ball falls straight to Asgard. To be fair to him, was first to react, and he fires it into the net to make it 1-0. So from one end of the park, Derek, up to the other end, a couple of incredible saves, but thankfully we made this one count.
Yep, just a fantastic goal, and like you said, a fantastic save as well. Just one of the best he's made, I think. But yeah, good to see the way we capitalised on that one there.
Yeah, and from there, from us scoring, although Motherwell had been well in the game, and it was, I'll not say it was level, because I feel that, from the second half on, Rangers were taking more control of the game. We saw the game out really after that. I've not really got much over. We had a couple of chances very late on, as in the 91st minute, with Curtis shooting over the bar for close range. And then Rangers broke up in the 94th minute into the ball right across the face of the goal. Moore shoots, it's blocked, it comes back to Raskin. He shoots, comes back to Majovski, to Cameron, and then he shoots. Fantastic save by the Motherwell keeper again, who, like I said, was having as good a game as Butland was to keep it just at 1-0. But that's how the game finished. And I was really pleased with that one, Derek, because like I've alluded to already, Motherwell are playing really well this season, and they went toe-to-toe with us. But I think just our doggedness, like I've said, it's like the second time I've used that phrase, saw us winning this game, and I was delighted with that result. I really was.
Yep. It led us into the next game, which was Tuesday the 30th of December. It was a 2-1 win at home against St Mirren in the Premiership. Now, another informed team. They're obviously hot off the back of winning the League Cup against Celtic. So, yeah,
yep.
Their tails were high at that point as well. But we managed to pull it off with another really hard-fought win. I wouldn't say it was hard-fought in terms of they were creating chances, because the game was really all us. We had to work for it. And that was the good thing to see. Obviously, the fact that the date was the 30th of December, it was the closest home game to the Ibrox disaster. So there was a minute's silence for that. Impeccably observed, apart from some dickhead who spoiled it by shouting right at the end what I thought was, "Come on the Gers." But Dave, you were there. You thought it was St Mirren, they said.
No, Derek, 100%, because of where I was sitting. I was in the family section, which was basically, I was literally myself, my son, another guy and his son, and then the away fans. We were right next to them. Obviously, the police and the stewards were between us. We were right there. And all the St Mirren fans, every one of them, observed it perfectly. Complete silence. And then out of the blue, just before the end, one young idiot comes in and shouts, "Come on, the Saints," loud as anything. So obviously, everyone was going ballistic at this point. I had the clearest view that you could get. Everybody's seen the pictures. All the St Mirren fans round about him went absolutely ballistic at the guy. One guy even had him by the throat. Another guy was basically trying to drag him out his seat from the tier above by his jacket. The stewards and everything all had to come in. There was loads of St Mirren fans going absolutely mental at him, and quite rightfully, the guy was thrown out. He was ejected. So fair play to all the rest of the St Mirren fans, but like we've said before, it only takes one idiot to spoil it for everyone, and they had the idiot at this stage.
Yep. So it was a positive start, then it became a bit scrappy. St Mirren had a couple of chances. Chermiti was playing well, holding the ball up really well for a number of times.
Yep.
And then we got a goal, and it was the guy who scored in the last game, Asgard, on the 39th minute. It was a short corner from the right, played back to the corner taker, a lovely ball into the middle, and a jumping header by Asgard into the bottom left corner. It came after a period of pressure. We had about 3 corners in the space of a couple of minutes, and it was good to see.
It was, and You mentioned him there, Derek. At half-time, I said to my laddie, how well is Chermiti playing? He gave them so many problems in the first half. Everything about him, his power. I don't think he lost a single aerial battle against any St Mirren team, and you know how big and powerful they are. I thought he had by far his best first half for Rangers, and I said it at that point, and going in for the rest of the game, I think he got man of the match, as you'll get into in the second half, but he was excellent in the first half.
I mean, you need to temper the fact that he's starting to play well now with the fact that he was playing so bad. So, I mean, really, as the song says, the only way is up. So, you know, he's starting to show stuff now. However, into the second half, he was provider because Fernandes made it 2-0 on the 52nd minute. Chermiti with a stunning cross into the box from the left-hand side. Fernandes breaks free and shoots first time, and he ends up running into the keeper as well, just the momentum taking him forward, and he gets a burst slip in the process. As I said, I think in the post-match about this game you could see where we were actually fighting for every single ball. We were going into challenges, we were going into balls, into situations where the players knew they were probably going to get injured, but they were still doing it, and that is a marked difference from the way we were playing at the start of the season. So it was a great goal, great cross from Chermiti as well, and he's continuing that form.
And at this stage in the game, I felt, now, you know, Danny Rowell's the manager for a reason. He's got to make these decisions, but slightly after that, he made a few substitutions, and he kind of taken away a lot of our aerial presence, and I think, you know, that was why St Mirren started to come back into the game, as you're about to get into.
Yep, the substitutions were made in the 68th minute. Moore and Asgard off, Aarons and Barron on. However, St Mirren got a penalty on the 74th minute. It went to a VAR check and it ended up being ruled a handball. It was a shot in our box from close range. The arm was out. He did try and bring his arm back in, but a penalty was given. Nobody claimed for it, which is really telling as well.
Yep.
And it'll be really interesting to see what the KMI panel and Wee Willie and his videos come to think of it as well. For me, I think it was one of these ones that some of them can go for you, some of them can go against you. It's just, you know, whatever the referee feels like on the day. That's not the way referees should manage, though, mind you. However, on the 76th minute, a save by Butland. It was a poor penalty in fairness. It was low. He didn't need to dive much. I think he caught it with his trailing leg. But that is something like 9 penalties he saved in his last 10. We thought Alan McGregor was good at penalties, but this is even better now.
Yep, quite incredible. As you say, it was a poor penalty, but regardless, it's as if he knew exactly what the guy was going to do. Absolutely delighted. As big a cheer as when we scored the second goal, because I think we all knew if St Mirren were going to get a goal back, it was going to kind of be backs against the wall after that. So, you know, fantastic by Butland and a great save.
Yep. 79th minute, Chermiti and Suter off, Danilo and Nsiala on.
That's what I'm talking about there, Derek, because I felt up until that point, really, St Mirren hadn't done much. And when we took off Chermiti and we'd taken off Suter and we had taken off Asgard, who were all giving us an aerial presence, from the last 10 minutes is when St Mirren came back into it for me and could have cost us.
Yep. Well, they certainly did come back into it, because in the 82nd minute they pulled a goal back to make it 2-1. It was a corner from the left. Butland doesn't come. It was a header in, a great initial save, but Pam to the back post and another header to the near post past Butland. As much as he had a great initial save, I think his follow-up was poor at the near post once again. Maybe I'm being a wee bit harsh about that one, given the great save in the first place, but he palmed it right into that area where the St Mirren player was. Maybe that's as much on the defence as well, mind you, because there should have been a mark in there. But, you know, it was a squeaky one time from after that, because St Mirren were on the ascendancy.
They were, and I think you maybe are being a wee bit harsh, because I've looked back on it, Derek, and I saw it at the time. It was all, you know, it was very close to where I was sitting, and I thought the marking was dreadful. Nsiala, I think it was, who had came on for Suter at that stage. I realised throwing a young guy in at that time of the game, maybe your concentration's down, but I feel that he should have done a lot better with the marking. And again, like I said, I know it was maybe Suter's first game back after injury or close to it. I feel that if he'd have stayed on, we might not have lost that goal, but that's hindsight's a great thing, isn't it?
Yeah. 91st minute, Diomande came off and Curtis came on. It's really disappointing that Curtis is only getting minutes each time, but
I know.
Yeah, we'll need to wait and see how that turns out. But we ran the game out 2-1. Delighted with that because, as I said, St Mirren were another informed team and we got the 3 points and back home. Yep. So, yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. So, Derek, speaking about this game or not about the game, more about something hilarious and one of the best comebacks that I've heard from supporters, and where I sat for years at Ibrox was in the Govan stand right next to the away fans, and here I was at the Broomloan right next to the away fans, and as usual you get the gobshites in the away end that are trying to wind people up constantly and shouting at them back and forward and things like that. But absolute beauty was when Rangers went 2 up, and obviously everybody's keen at the get it right up, yet it went quiet, and there was this one guy, and he must have been, I reckon, 62, 63-year-old, and he's there, obviously, with either his son or whoever, and he starts really going ballistic at 3 Rangers supporters that are behind me. And all I could hear from him was constant, "Yous are bigots, yous are bigots, religion this, religion that, your club's based in bigotry, that's all you're interested in is bigots, you only sing bigoted songs, blah, blah, blah." So the Rangers supporters are shouting back, telling him to shut the F up and all of this. So a St Mirren fan shouts, "Your whole family, generations of bigotry." He says, "You've got the grandfather, the father and the son, generations of bigotry. That's always about generations of bigotry." And it went quiet, and the guy stood there, he turns around, he says, "Well, but the look of you, you've got generations of inbreeding, you ugly bastard."
Fantastic.
And the whole place erupted. Yeah, even the St Mirren fans were laughing at that one as well. So fair play to the guy. They were from Northern Ireland, the Rangers supporters. So fantastic stuff. It's things like that I miss about sitting next to the away fans, because some of the abuse that you used to take and give out was brilliant. So sometimes better than the game that you were watching, Derek. So no, brilliant stuff.
Yep, brilliant. So it leaves us into the next game, the second last game we've got to cover, Saturday the 3rd of January, an incredible 3-1 win away against Celtic in the Premiership. Dave, it started off absolutely atrocious. You would have thought after the first half had finished that we were never getting anything out of that game. It was one of the worst halves we've ever played, and to come out 3-1 winners, complete turnaround, was incredible.
Again, Derek, it shows you what Danny Rowell's installed, and especially the defensive part of our team. I'm going to cover this game almost in full for the notes that I've got down. But as you say, we were well outplayed in the first half, but still had opportunity in the first half to maybe go in 1-1 at half time, but I don't think it would have been deserved. But second half was completely different. So the team that he put out, I'll do it in full. Butland, Sterling, Fernandes, Suter, Magoma, Barron, Raskin, Asgard, Moore, Gassama and Chermiti. On the bench, Kelly and Ciala, Aarons, Tavernier, Curtis, Dowell, Diomande, Majovski and Danilo. So a couple of changes, Tav and Diomande dropping to the bench, Sterling and Barron starting. It was a very soft yellow card, I feel, for Asgard. He loses the ball in the centre circle. He kind of tugs an angle shut. There wasn't much in it. Referee straight away, bang, yellow card. I don't know if that played into Asgard's mind after that, because he had one of his poorest games in a Rangers shirt, and he's not had many outstanding games, Derek, but this was one for him to definitely forget. First chance for Celtic in the 9th minute. They break down the right wing, play a ball across the face of the goal. Thankfully, there's nobody there and it's cleared. You could tell that they were up for this. A corner in from Celtic into 6-yard box. Trusty completely unmarked. Thankfully, he headed it wide. That was a glorious opportunity for them. And then at 19th minute, a tremendous save by Butland to deny Johnny Kenny point-blank range, but just a minute later, Celtic get the goal, and it's absolutely shocking defending. The Celtic winger gets the ball from a throw-in, and Derek, I've watched this back a few times. I still actually don't know how he manages to even control the ball, turn, without getting tackled, but he's allowed to do that. And this is on the right wing. He's allowed to control the ball with about 3 Rangers players near him, turn, run diagonally at the box. Everybody stands off him. I don't know what the hell they were doing. He gets into the box and hits. It's a bullet of a shot. It's straight at Butland, but seems to go right through his hands into the back of the net. Just calamitous completely. But how the hell is nobody tackling him before he even gets into the box? I've got no idea. And again, it was a powerful shot. Butland will look back at that and say, I should have been able to at least palm that over the bar. It wasn't to be, and Celtic were 1-0 up.
I've got in my notes that I've taken here, Butland could have done better, absolutely. But it's the same thing we've been seeing time and time again. It's just nobody willing to put a challenge in. I said it in the last podcast, I think, as well. Nobody's willing to put a challenge in, and I don't know why. It beggars belief. I can understand if you're inside the box and you're maybe worried about giving away a penalty, but when you're allowed to run 30 yards into the box, then why are you not sticking a challenge in? Ridiculous.
It was shocking. But then 6 minutes later, really out of nothing, we had a glorious chance, and the ball is played up to Gassama, who manages to stay onside. He runs into the box. He has got a defender running back with him, but he manages to he tries to dink the ball over Schmeichel. To be fair to Schmeichel, he pulls off a good save, and the ball just goes past the post and out for a corner, which comes to nothing. But it showed us at that point that there was still chances to be had in this game, but we were kind of all over the place at that point. The passing, Derek, was just dreadful. I think we gave the ball away more to the Celtic players than we did to our own players. It was just absolutely shocking. And I kept saying to myself, why are we just not looking up to see who's available? It was like blind passing, expecting players to be in positions, and you just can't play like that. So we were making it very easy for them. 39th minute, another great save by Butland from Kenny when the ball's played to the back post. There's a header, goes right across the face of the goal, like thankfully cleared again. 38th minute, that's all I've got. We can't seem to string 2 passes together. But 2 minutes into stoppage time, a long ball played upfield. You could see that we had about 6 players who were clearly offside. Obviously, the linesman can't put flags up until the ball is stopped. Gassama puts the ball into the 6-yard box. Moore fires it into the back of the net. But as we all expected, the flag went up offside. So at that stage, I've got here that it was been our worst performance under Danny Rule up until this point, offering nothing up front. Moore and Gassama looked completely lost, weren't doing anything. Midfield couldn't pass to anyone. Asgard looking a complete liability every time he was touching the ball. No one taking command of any situation, and no pass marks apart from Butland, but the goal was a shocker from him to lose. So again, as poor as we can get. And as you said just a minute ago about Chermiti, because we were so poor in the first half, we were just hoping that it couldn't possibly continue like that into the second half. And thankfully it didn't.
No, I mean, I think the offside goal summed up our half, and it was just pure laziness, absolute laziness. The fact that you can understand if there was one player offside, but there was about 6 of them offside there. Chermiti no getting the service at all. Even Barron was quite quiet. Raskin was having an absolute shocker as well. The Asgard thing now, he was having an exceptionally poor game, and I know what you said about the yellow card probably did play into his style of play. He had got sent off in the last Old Firm game as well. You said that it was a bit of a light yellow card. I don't actually have much issue with the yellow card because he did haul him back on the run, and it was fairly early in the game, and he was referee maybe stamping his authority earlier on, but he never, and that's the problem. I don't have an issue with Asgard getting a yellow card for that, but the Celtic player done it not long after that and never got anything. And there was several fouls that Celtic were getting away with, and we were getting penalised for, but Celtic weren't. And it's not playing into this whole conspiracy thing at all, not at all. It's just the fact that you need to have consistency. You can't give a yellow card for one thing and then not give the yellow card for the exact same thing later. It's bizarre from referees once again. However, Dave, the second half was a complete chalk and cheese moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely. He made the change at half-time, Danny Rule. Like I've said already, he seems to have that knack of being able to know how to change things if it's not going well for us. And he had to take Asgard off, Derek, as you just said there. He was having an absolute shocker. He brought Diomande on, And Diomande, again, has had more poor games than he's had good games for Rangers, but he came on and seemed to calm the midfield down. And I always feel that Raskin plays better when Diomande's in midfield alongside him. And that's certainly what happened. It completely changed the game from there. And Rangers, it was just all Rangers in the second half after that. And in the 51st minute, we pulled level, and it was Chermiti who scored. And it was a throw-in on the wing to Rangers. The ball was played to Diomande. He flicks the ball to Raskin. He could just tell he was going to make that run into the box. Raskin bursts into the box. He gets to the byline and cuts the ball across to the front post. And we didn't get a chance to really appreciate how good this finish was, but it was a back heel flick into the top corner at the near post. The Celtic defender on Chermiti. Schmeichel there also. That's a phenomenal finish, Derek, when you look back, and it's 1-1.
That's the type of goal that we get undone by so many times, just a simple cutback. Yep. That is the dream goal. And for the fact that, like you said, it wasn't a simple tap-in like we all thought. No. It was a back heel flick into the net. Yep. It was fantastic for a much maligned player with no skill, apparently.
And you could just tell after we scored that, you just knew that Celtic were going to fall to pieces. You just knew that. The whole mood in the stadium changed. Their fans went absolutely deadly quiet after that. All you could hear was the small bunch of Rangers fans singing in the corner. We just had a feeling that we were going to go on and win this game, and we did. Butlington pulled off a couple of good saves, a header from a free kick out for a corner, but again, I'm saying it's a good save. It's a save that you're expecting him to make. He had another save from Maeda. The only time I think can remember Maeda doing anything in the second half. Celtic found him, but it was a good low save, but again, you're expecting him to make it. But on the 59th minute, we'll go absolutely ballistic. And it is shades of Daniel Kuzan, Derek, isn't it? Shades of Daniel Kuzan just on the opposite wing, because we scored the second goal. Chermiti gets his second goal, and it's a fantastic strike by him because he gets the ball on the left wing and just decides to run at the Celtic defence. Sheer power and pace and control into the Celtic box. For some reason, the Celtic defenders back off him. He keeps going. I don't know if they're thinking he's going to cut it back to someone. He doesn't. He runs in at an angle and curls the ball round Schmeichel into the opposite corner of the net to make it 2-1 to Rangers, and we're in dreamland. And a fantastic goal by him.
What a goal. I mean, what a time to choose arriving at the club, eh? 2 goals in an Old Firm game, outstanding. And I had to laugh because one of the Celtic fans on Twitter said that it's just a pity we lost that game because Yang's individual goal is going to get forgotten because we lost. I says, don't worry, Chermiti scored an even better, which was very similar, so it'll not get forgotten at all. So, what a goal. Brilliant.
Yep, and from there, you could just tell that we were pressing again. We knew we could smell blood. We knew they were there for the taking. And then on the 72nd minute, Mikey Moore puts us 3-1 up. Gassama wins the ball outside the box, plays in Mikey Moore. He runs in slightly to the right-hand side, diagonally, hits a shot. And it's not even the most powerful of shots. It's low. It's heading for the opposite corner, the left-hand corner. I was expecting Schmeichel to save it, but like I said in the post-match, he was so slow. It was like a tree that had just been chopped down, and Moore slotted the ball underneath him to make it 3-1, and that boy just loved it. He ran, he sprinted to the away end, he was in with the fans. You could tell how much it meant to him, and we just knew that we had the game won by then, didn't we? Great goal.
Outstanding. Just what a goal and what a celebration as well. That he'd really kind of taken to the fans to his heart in that one there. And you know what, I'm really glad to see some common sense by the referees and the officials there by not booking him, because later the law he should have probably got booked for that. He actually barged past a policeman and some stewards to get to our fans, but some common sense there from the officials there.
Yup, and there's been mock paintings and stuff like that, made his celebration jumping past the police and stuff like that. So, no, it was great for him. And like I said, we knew we had the game won by then. The only real thing that I've got after that, Celtic broke into the box, but we just knew that we were going to get it cleared. It was a great touch by Suter and then a low save by Butland to put it out. But that was really Celtic's only chance, really, in the second half. And again, it was more a half chance. One thing right before the game finished, in 90 minutes plus 2, Majowski, possibly the quickest booking this season, because he came on for Chermiti about 30 seconds and his first touch was a hard tackle into whoever Celtic player it was. He was booked instantly. I think he was just wanting to get involved in some way because he knew the game was coming to an end. But that is how the game finished. We were all absolutely delighted by that. And as we've subsequently found out, it has been the end of Wilfred Nancy, and I'm absolutely devastated about that, Derek, to be honest with you. But, we saw him off, delighted that we got the victory there, and we just knew it was putting us right back in here. We didn't think a few weeks ago, even just I think 3 weeks ago, we had any chance of getting into this title race, Derek, but I think that showed a lot of people that we're well up for this, and Danny Rule has got us really determined, and if you're going to beat Rangers, you're going to have to put in some performance to beat us. So absolutely delighted with that.
But of course, Celtic just can't lose a game. There's always something that their fans are going to drag up, despite the game being no contentious decisions at all. They're claiming that Fernandes should have been sent off for an elbow on Engels. That's despite Engels actually fouling Fernandes in that case. He did catch him, but it was completely accidental and no way a foul at all. Of course, Des Roach and the Daily Record claimed it should definitely have been a red. However, the more level-headed and non-anti-Rangers minded Dermot Gallagher and Sky said that it was no way a red card. So, as ever, they just can't lose. There always has to be some sort of controversy involved in their game against us, isn't there?
I got told a long time ago, Derek, by a very wise man, someone who's no longer with us, who's Rangers daft. This was a long time ago that he said this to me. He says, Celtic always cheated, never defeated. And that'll live with me, and it's still true to this day.
Yep. So it leads us on to the last game I've got to cover. Tuesday the 6th of January, it was a 2-0 win at home against Aberdeen in the Premiership. So obviously, given the fact that it's the first home game after the new year, the Loving Cup ceremony was done. So it's always good to see, despite the slagging we get from the uncouth ones of the Scottish game.
It's a tradition that's went back a long time. I actually saw that someone had posted on the Rangers Archives Facebook page the other day, back in the 1980s, and it was actually Archie Macpherson was talking about it before the Sports Scene programme came on, and what I found hilarious was that Archie even had a drink himself while he was on the screen from the Living Cup toasting the Queen at the time. So it's something that's went on for a long time. Traditions need to stay, Derek, and I really don't care about what anybody else says about it. It is a Rangers tradition, and it was also marked by Stoke City, who all their fans had made a comment about it also, considering the history of the Living Cup. So no, traditions must stay on, in my opinion.
Yes. So Dave, what happened in this game?
It was more the first half, Derek. We kind of blew Aberdeen away in the first half. We got the 2 early goals, which I'm about to get into, and basically won the game at half-time, which is what we've been desperate to do for a while. Aberdeen not playing well, you've got to say. They had sacked their manager just before they played Rangers. They didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but we all know sometimes when a manager leaves, it can give them a bounce. So wary of this, but we really had no need. There was 2 changes Danny Rule had made against Celtic, with Tavernier and Diomande starting in for Sterling and Asgard, which I'm sure you're going to get into after this game, why Sterling was out, Derek. So it was Butland, Tavernier, Fernandes, Suter, Magoma, Barron, Raskin, Diomande, Moore, Gassama and Chermiti, with Kelly, Inciala, Aaron, Sterling, Matondo, Dowell, Asgard, Majowski and Danilo on the bench. So in the 4th minute, a chance for Rangers. The ball played into the Aberdeen box. Their keeper jumps up, looked like a simple, straightforward catch for him. For some reason, he misjudged it. The ball drops straight to Conor Barron. He snatches at it. It's blocked and cleared. That was a great chance, but we only had to wait 7 minutes later for Rangers to take the lead, and it was a corner in from the left by Conor Barron. Yep, Conor Barron and not James Tavernier. And there was Fernandes to rise above everyone in the centre of the box and hit a powerful header past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. Like we alluded to before, Derek, he is becoming a real goal threat for us. And maybe the set-piece coach is finally working out for us, because that was a great goal.
Yeah. What was a couple of surprising things there is Barron was taking the corner. The fact that Tavernier was on the pitch as well, which is a big telling thing. Tavernier does all the set pieces, throw-ins, free kicks, corners, you name it. But the fact as well that Barron was on set pieces for the Celtic game and he was absolutely woeful. Woeful. Whereas this was inch perfect, this one. So complete, shock for both things there.
Yep. Scared for Rangers in the 15th minute, though, and a break for Aberdeen. I don't really know if they were trying to clear the ball or just hit and hope one up, but it sort of broke to their attacker between the two Rangers defenders. Thankfully, he had a poor final touch because he was through on Butland, and thankfully Butland managed to gather it easily because he overhit it. But that was a worrying time, shall I say, but it was still early on. We were 1-0 up, so nothing to really worry about. What got me, though, Derek, and I don't know if you picked up on this, was the amount of reckless tackles that the Aberdeen players were putting in, and constant niggling tackles, and the referee wasn't doing anything about it. There wasn't even any warnings. Certainly wasn't any yellow cards getting brought out, but it was Nick Walsh. Surprise, surprise. And it just looked as if Aberdeen could get away with just about anything, but there was a lot of really hard tackles in that stage that I felt really should have been stopped and players at least spoken to. Did you think the same thing?
I've actually got this in my notes here, to the fact that the ref was a disgrace, reluctant to book their players, as you said, especially their number 29, whoever that was. Not only that, and I think it was maybe just a wee bit after this, one of their players actually booted the ball into our crowd through frustration.
Yes.
He wasn't booked at all. He wasn't spoken to. I don't know, could that even have been a sending off offence? Because if you remember, Stuart Kettlewell got sent off for basically doing the same thing. I know he was the manager at the time and it was on this touchline that wasn't into the crowd, but this is a crowd safety issue. So I know it's just a ball, but it was booted at some bloody pace.
Exactly.
So I think he's maybe lucky to stay on the park there. Never even got spoken to.
Never even got spoken to, and that's the thing, and that's what I just said there. It was a disgrace for me that, he wasn't even stopping and having a word with these players. So, but 28th minute, Aberdeen had another chance. They were breaking 2-1. To be fair to John Souttar, he was the final defender back, and it showed you his experience because he knew exactly what defender to go with. A lot of people might have went with a player that had the ball that was running to the front post, but he didn't. He stayed back. He kind of anticipated what was happening, and it was a poor pass from the attacker, and Rangers were able to clear. So good play by John Souttar on that one. Free kick on the left-hand side, in swinger by James Tavernier. Great save by their goalkeeper. It goes over the bar, really unlucky. But from that corner, Rangers scored their second goal. And again, Conor Barron on the left-hand side, in swinger. And there, we've seen it before, Nicholas Raskin makes that darting run to the front post, gets that sort of gliding flick with his head and bullets it into the back of the net. Another excellent set piece and a great goal for Raskin.
Yep, brilliant. Just it's becoming a trademark Raskin as well, just ghosting into that box and then getting the header as well past the keeper. Smallest guy in the field, just about.
Yep, exactly. And, we were totally in control at this stage. We had a chance again, 2 minutes into stoppage time in the first half. Again, it was another free kick into the box. Raskin right in front of the goalkeeper. He heads it over the bar. The assistant referee puts the flag off offside. Didn't get a chance to look at that back to see if he was well offside or not, but certainly another good chance. So into the second half, we change Moore off, Asgard on. don't know if Moore had a wee niggling injury for the Celtic game. That's kind of what was suggested there. 50th minute, Raskin with a low shot from outside of the box, but straightforward save by the Aberdeen goalkeeper. Barron on the 54th minute, ball into Tav on the edge of the box. He beats his man, shoots just over the bar. 57th minute, Chermiti and Suter off, Majovski and Sterling on. Gassama breaking into the box, the 59th minute, finds Asgard on the left-hand side. He shoots for a tight angle. It's saved out to Barron. He volleys it just over the bar. That was really unlucky there. 67th minute, Gassama runs down the right wing, cuts inside, shoots. A ball dips just over the bar again. We've seen him do that before, and it just sort of sneaks in. Really unlucky there. Low shot from Danilo in the 83rd minute at the edge of the box. It's a weak one, though, straight at the goalkeeper. He just came on for Diomande about 15 minutes before that. Barron off on the 87th minute to a standing ovation. Absolutely outstanding for Rangers. He was everywhere. He was brilliant. He comes off. Aarons comes on. 1 minute into stoppage time, Aberdeen into the box. A shot, good sliding challenge from Fernandes to divert it past and out for a corner. So that was how it ended, Derek. Very comfortable for Rangers, especially in the second half. We completely controlled the game. Raskin and Barron superb in midfield, but I thought that Barron was absolutely tremendous. But Raskin starting to show that wee bit of arrogance and sort of knowing that he can come in and completely control the game. That's the first time I've seen it in a while, but he looked really, really good. And another victory for Danny Rule, and now up to second place in the league and 3 points behind Hearts. Derek, we would never have saw that 2 months ago, so quite incredible.
Yep, the goal difference is up as well. We said in the last podcast, I think, as well, statistically the best defence in the Premiership just now, or I think we're equal on that with Hearts now. Obviously Hearts and Celtic got a game in hand, but we've got the points on the table. They still need to win their games, so exactly. It's long may this continue, because it's certainly been impressive from Rule since he came in. He's managed to get a tune out of players, not so much a tune, but he's managed to stop the leakiness at the back, and we've started to score a wee bit more as well, which is always good to see.
Yep, definitely. It comes down to organisation. It comes down to certain players stepping up that hadn't before. I think he has got certain players got the best out of them, Derek. I didn't think we would have saw Fernandes putting the contribution in that he has in the last few weeks. Connor Barron just seems to be getting a bit better and better, but as you'll get into soon, that's something that we'll have to do without for the next few games. Mikey Moore also looks a different player from when he first came in. So, yep, long may it continue.
Yes. So the game's still to come in January. Sunday the 11th of January away against Aberdeen in the Premiership. That's a 16:30 kick-off. That game right now I would have said is pending because of the snow they've had up in Aberdeen, so we'll wait and see. Friday the 16th of January at home against Annan in the Scottish Cup Round 4. That's a 7:45 kick-off. Thursday the 22nd of January at home to Ludogorets in Game 7 of the Europa League. That's at 8 o'clock kick-off. Sunday the 25th of January at home against Dundee in the Premiership. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off. And to round out January, Thursday the 29th of January away against Porto in the last game of the Europa League, another 8 o'clock kick-off. Those Europa League fixtures are really just distractions now, because basically,
I know they are,
barring us winning both games by a barrel load and the next team losing by a barrel load as well, we're not going to get into the playoff stages. So yeah, just resting players, I think that's a case of.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll now go into the news. So a few bits and pieces to cover. The Livingston handball that we covered in the last podcast, the VAR review show admits that it was a mistake and it should have been a penalty. I think both you and I and every Rangers fan at the time said that it should have been a penalty. It looked a clear penalty to me. The word that we got at the time was that the VAR said it hit off his knee, but I don't think the audio really did say that, so I'm not too sure what the story is there. The usual outcry because we got a decision. It was the second decision this season that wrongly went in our favour. That's despite multiple issues where we have had stuff going against us when it shouldn't have been. The usual idiots saying, where's your statements now? Clearly missing the point. They also need to remember you still have to score the penalty.
Exactly.
Yep. So we're now into the transfer window. It's funny season, Dave, and I don't take, you know me, I don't take much note of it. I know there was a couple of rumours tonight about Sunderland players. There was one about, was it Bowie from Hibs? Another couple of unknown players coming from down south as well. And the one here, allegedly, we have been in for Josh Windass. He's 32, he has talent, but not as much as his dad thinks he's got. His attitude when he was with us before was disgraceful. People do change though. Right now, I'm not ruling anyone in or out at this stage. I mean, I'm excluding Morelos with that one, by the way, because he's now forced himself to become a free agent with his current club. I'll take back idiots with attitude issues. I won't take back players who downed tools. So that's Morelos and Kent. That's for me. I don't want them. But that's just my opinion. I know you'll be different on that one.
Oh, I am certainly on Alfredo Morelos, but that's something that will definitely not happen. He is trying to force his move until the club that he was on loan to back in Colombia that he done so well at last season. That's all he's been trying to do. That'll not happen. There are rumours that are growing arms and legs that have been in multiple reports, and apparently we are very close to signing Belgian under-21 left back, who by all accounts looks the type of profile that we should be going for. Young and, you know, has played a lot of games in the Belgian top flight and done very well. Also a midfielder currently playing in Sweden, which I think they're looking at. And I think we definitely need to be bringing in players, Derek, because going by injuries that we've picked up now, we're definitely needing numbers for this run-in. So we just have to hope that they get the deals done soon, that they are quality players. And as Danny Rule alluded to himself, even right at the very end of the transfer window is sometimes the time that you can pick up some real gems. So I think it's going to go right to the wire, and we'll be sitting at 2 minutes to midnight in the last day in January, still with a possibility of signing a player. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep. You obviously mentioned injuries there. That's obviously injuries to Dujon Sterling, who's going to be out for a number of weeks, and obviously Connor Barron, who was really coming into a game. He's going to be out for up till maybe about 3 months now. So that's a massive, massive blow, considering that's the kind of heart of midfield there. He was really turned on to a game. Sterling as well, he was allowing Tavernier to take a step back as well, which we drastically need Tavernier to really come out the team ultimately, because his legs are just gone. It's not for a lack of trying, it's just his body's just not playing ball with him anymore. Obviously, talking about transfers as well, much like the fee we paid for Connor Barron, we're set to go to a tribunal over the development fee we are due Dundee for Lyle Cameron, as both sides couldn't agree. I find this ridiculous because he was obviously signed under the last manager. It seems out of favour with, and he doesn't want to be played by Danny Rule, so it seems a bit academic this, but those are the rules. It's one of these things. We have a valuation for the player, they have a different valuation. We can't meet in the middle, so the SPFL are going to decide. So we'll wait and see with that one there.
It's a strange one. The whole situation with Lyle Cameron is very strange. This was a guy who, every time I saw him play for Dundee, he was an absolute standout in the midfield. But I don't know what's happening. Obviously, we're not privy to know what happens in training, but there's obviously something that Danny Rule isn't happy about, because I think the vast majority of teams in Scotland would have him in the team. I know he was out injured for a while, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But we've got to trust what the manager, his decisions, Derek. But it's a puzzler for me, that one.
He's maybe crocked Connor Barron in training, and that's maybe where he's going to get his place now.
Maybe, you don't know.
We obviously mentioned Dujon Sterling there. Now, after the Old Firm game, images emerged that he had crashed his car and he's been charged by police. Now, it's, according to reports, it's a drink driving charge, so I'm not wanting to say too much about it because it's a live case. If that is really the case, it's absolutely abhorrent. You can't really justify that at all. He's a silly, silly boy. He's just very lucky he wasn't hurt and nobody else was hurt. It was just his car and a railing that was damaged. So very, very lucky. I hope the club take appropriate action. Danny Rule was speaking about that today in the press conference, saying that they'll deal with it, but that will get dealt with internally, and the fact that it'll be a life lesson for him as well. One thing I won't have, though, is the clowns from the other side of the city piping up about this, because their current captain was also banned for drink driving as well. Not that I'm playing one-upmanship or whataboutery at all, but I'm just not having the idiots from the other side having a go at our players for doing the exact same thing one of their heroes has already been charged with.
Derek, I'll be very careful what I say here. If it comes out that is the case, as you say, it's been dealt with just now, there's no excuse for it whatsoever. It's one of the worst things, in my opinion, that you can do. Very unhappy that anybody doing it, never mind one of our players. Absolute stupidity. We'll leave it at that just now, and we'll see what action the club takes from there if that is the case.
Yes. Next thing is we've apparently appointed David French as the new Chief Commercial Officer. He was formerly the Chief Executive of the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, former GM at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Shanghai, and held senior roles at Nokia and Manchester United as well. So he's got a lot of stadium experience, which will be handy with the stadium expansion plans and the surveys and all that the club are doing just now. Weirdly, that's not been officially said on the website just now. It was through one of the other fan media websites. So waiting for official confirmation of that one there, but that's another position we need to fill.
Yep, definitely, yep.
And the last news I've got here is we have today confirmed that we've been hit with a 50 ticket reduction for the visit to Hibs on the 2nd of February. That's because of the pyro at the Kelly game we reported on in the last podcast. We've also confirmed that we will be hit with a further 100 ticket reduction, which has been suspended unless there's more pyro. So it's really, really simple this. Stop doing it. You can argue about it being visually appealing all you like. You can argue about the draconian nature of it all you like. When we've been told umpteen times by the club to stop it, and you keep doing it, it's you and your fellow fans and ultimately the club that suffers for this. Just wrap it up.
It really annoys me when the defence of this is, well, other teams do it, other fans do it, other people in other countries do it. Just like what you said there. If we're told it's not allowed and you're going to get into bother, why are you deliberately going out knowing that action's going to be taken against the club? And then it's the fans, it's fans that go to every single game away from home that are now going to get punished because they're not going to be able to get tickets. Some of them, it's just ridiculous that people still think it's fine, and that is the excuse that they use. It's actually quite childlike, to be perfectly honest with you. That whole argument of, well, other people do it and other teams do it, that's no us. Do you know what I mean? And it's just a completely ridiculous argument to come away with.
Yeah, I think Motherwell got hit with a ban as well today for the same thing,
yep.
So they are certainly cracking down on it. However, it's now time for Fessel Corner.
Do you like Dick? No, I don't like the Dick, but I like Dick Advocate, you know what I mean?
To last longer, I think about Margaret Thatcher during sex. The poll tax can make me reduced to a semi, so I try to avoid that subject. Several times a year, I tell my partner that I've got to attend yet another business seminar, but there isn't one. I just go to a hotel where I can do what I want and get some fucking peace away from the tedious golf-obsessed arsehole.
That's a bit much, right enough, but okay.
I'm a nurse. Once found a crayon in a penis. Wasn't even what he came in with. We call it a secondary find. I wonder what he came in with.
Exactly. The mind boggles. Oh my word.
I took a bet on Christmas night to eat a jar of pickled onions. Not only did I eat them, I drank the vinegar and ate 7 pickled eggs. I haven't stopped farting for 2 days. Huge stinky raspers. Real acrid. Room cleaners. If it wasn't for the stomachache, I'd do it again.
I'm quite partial to a pickled onion, to be fair, Derek.
When people move to the area and ask on Facebook local pages for the best takeaways, I politely send them to the worst ones. This is not malice, this is strategy. I refuse to let my usual order take 90 minutes because of Dave from Kent has discovered the best garlic chilli chicken.
Exactly. That is well done.
I regrettably visited an escort this year. While she was sucking my dick, she says nice a few times. Each time she said nice, it reminded me of our dear deceased Nan, who used to say nice when she was sipping her Baileys or tucking into a Sunday lunch.
That's not right. That really is the right. Oh my word.
And to round it out here, I got sent this one and I did already have it flagged for me as well. Been invited to a wedding in July that I really want to get out of, but the only thing that I have in my diary for that month is the anniversary of the Battle of the Boyne.
that could be one of many people listening to this. Oh, quality.
So on that note, we will end the podcast. So, barring one result, it's been a rather enjoyable kind of wee spell there for games. So, yeah, a lot of important games still to come. Obviously, every game is important for Rangers, but we're on the right trajectory, it looks like, and we'll just need to wait and see what kind of players we get in through the window. It doesn't matter where they come from, they're always a risk, but we'll need to see how Danny Rule bleeds them into the team.
Yes, and I think with the loss, especially of Connor Barron in midfield, that's going to be massive for us. So whoever he brings in to play in that position really has to, hit the ground running, because Barron has been excellent for us, especially the sort of last 2 months. He's been outstanding. So we really need him to go out and bring in quality players that can come in and play straight away. So only time will tell. We just have to keep our fingers crossed that it all works out.
Yes. So all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Yep, take care everyone. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.